All right, welcome to the Explainer. Today we're diving into something pretty wild, a rare and incredibly dangerous condition where the very fluid that fuels your body starts leaking into your chest. We're talking about a life-threatening internal flood.
Okay, so let's set the scene. Picture this. A patient is recovering from chest surgery. Everything seems to be going just fine until a nurse spots something really alarming. The chest drain, which should be collecting, a clearish fluid, is suddenly filling up with this thick, opaque, milky white liquid. And just like that, what was a routine recovery turns into this urgent medical puzzle. So the big questions are, what is this stuff? And more importantly, why is it so incredibly dangerous?
Well, this condition has a name, chylothorax, and it's a massive red flag. It means a vital fluid is leaking where it has no business being, and the body is literally losing something it desperately needs to survive.
So now that we've put a name to it, let's actually unmask the culprit here. What is this milky fluid? Because once you understand what it is, you'll see just how critical this situation really is.
Okay, so this milky stuff is called chyle. And you gotta understand, this isn't waste fluid. Not at all. It's basically liquid gold for your body. Think of it as the body's superfuel. It's created during digestion, and its job is to carry all the good stuff, fats, proteins, vitamins, immune cells, into your bloodstream to power, well, everything you do.
And take a look at this. This really breaks down why losing chyle is so devastating. It's not just fluid. The body is leaking its primary energy source in triglycerides, its immune defenses with those lymphocytes, and essential vitamins. This isn't a small problem. It leads to severe malnutrition, a totally crippled immune system, and a cascade of other issues, from blood clotting problems to weak bones. It's a total system failure in the making.
Now here's where it gets tricky. Not all milky fluid in the chest is chyle. There's actually a great pretender out there called pseudochylothorax. It looks the same, but it's caused by chronic inflammation, not an active leak. So how do you tell them apart? It all comes down to a simple lab test. True chylothorax has sky-high levels of triglycerides, that's the fats. The imposter version, high cholesterol. And getting that one test right is absolutely crucial to figuring out what's really going on.
Okay, so we know what's leaking. The next big question is, where is it coming from? To fix the leak, you have to find it first.
And the source is almost always the same place. A major pipeline called the thoracic duct. You can think of this thing as the main superhighway of your entire lymphatic system. It's a huge vessel carrying something like 4 liters of chyle and lymph every single day. So you can see why a break in this particular pipe is such a massive problem.
So how does this superhighway break down? Well, there are 2 main theories. The first one is pretty straightforward, a mechanical rupture, a physical tear, usually from something like chest surgery or a traumatic injury. But the second way is a little more interesting. It's more of a functional problem. Imagine a plumbing backup. If the pressure gets too high in the veins where this duct is supposed to drain, it creates a traffic jam. The chyle has nowhere to go, so it starts to literally sweat or seep right through the walls of the lymphatic vessels. No hole, just overwhelming pressure.
All right, so we've got a major pipeline leak. The clock is ticking. The question for the medical team is, how do you find the exact spot of the leak? And more importantly, how do you fix it before things get even worse?
It all starts with one magic number, 110. If the triglyceride level in that milky chest fluid is over 110 milligrams per deciliter, that's it. That's the definitive proof. It's the biochemical smoking gun that tells doctors, yes, this is chyle.
So once they suspect it's chyle, the team follows this really logical pathway. Step 1, confirm there's fluid in there with a simple chest x-ray. Okay, check. Step 2, verify it's chyle. They do something called a thoracentesis. Basically, they use a needle to get a sample of the fluid and send it to the lab for that all-important triglyceride test. And then, step 3, with the diagnosis confirmed, it's time to locate the leak. And for that, they bring out the heavy hitters, advanced imaging like CT scans or even a specialized MR lymphangiography to map out the entire system and pinpoint the exact source of the problem.
Okay, so what do you do first? You might think they rush right into surgery, but that's not usually the case. The first line of defense is what we call conservative therapy. The goal is simple: turn down the faucet on chyle production. So, they'll drain the fluid for sure, but they'll also put the patient on a very special diet. They use these fats called medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs. And what's cool about these is they get absorbed directly into the blood, completely bypassing that broken lymphatic highway. They might also use a medication called octreotide to slow down chyle production even more.
So how do they know if it's working?
It's pretty simple, actually. They just watch the chest strain. If the leak is what we call high output, and we're talking over a liter of this stuff per day, or if it just doesn't slow down after about a week, that's a huge sign. It means this conservative approach isn't going to cut it, and it's time to get more aggressive.
And this is where modern medicine gets really, really cool. The go-to method is a minimally invasive surgery called VATS. So instead of a big open incision, they use a tiny camera and small tools. And here's the best part. This is straight out of science fiction. They can inject a fluorescent dye, indocyanine green, that makes the lymphatic ducts literally glow on the screen. This allows the surgeon to see exactly where the leak is and clip it shut. It's incredibly precise.
But wait, there's more. There's an even less invasive option. Interventional radiologists can actually go in and plug the leak from the inside. It's called endovascular embolization. They guide a tiny catheter through the body's blood vessels right to the leak and then deploy tiny coils or a special medical glue to plug it up. It's exactly like a plumber fixing a pipe from the inside without ever having to break open the wall. Just amazing stuff.
So when you think about it, from special diets all the way to glowing dyes and internal plugs, the modern medical toolkit for dealing with this is pretty incredible.
You know, what a condition like chylothorax really does is shine a spotlight on the lymphatic system. It's this critical, massive network that's just quietly working in the background, balancing our fluids and fighting off infections. It's a real unsung hero of the body. And this is just a stark reminder that some of the most important systems keeping us alive are the ones we never even think about.
And fixing this is never a one-person job. It is absolutely a team sport. As one source perfectly puts it, successful treatment requires a complex, multidisciplinary approach. You need everyone at the table: thoracic surgeons, anesthesiologists, radiologists, dietitians, all working together to fix this one problem and restore the body's balance.
Ultimately, chylothorax teaches us something profound about our own biology. It shows how one single problem in one hidden little pipe can cause a catastrophic, system-wide failure. And that leaves us with a really big question, doesn't it? What other medical mysteries could we unlock if we stopped looking at the body as just a collection of parts and started seeing it for what it truly is: one single, incredibly complex, interconnected network?